What's going on, everybody? Kimba Garcia here at IRE with Jay Miller from Miller Storm. Jay,
yes.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
Absolutely, 100%.
What made you come to IRE?
Honestly, I've been to a lot of conferences. I have never been to IRE before. And so I know a lot of top guys were coming out here, and I wanted to come out here, really network, because it's your network is your net worth, right? And so I meet people like you here, right? I meet some of the other top guys, the VPs of either the material manufacturers. We get to meet with ABC reps and stuff like that. And so just overall networking really is what builds the value, yeah.
In 2026, what do you have going on that you're super excited for?
Oh my gosh. Over the last 5 years, we really have learned from our mistakes, and last year taught us a lot about really expansion, growth, leadership, the recruitment, the training, and the retention of our sales reps, right? Because I think the company is truly based around how many people you can recruit, train well, and then also retain them through the culture. Ultimately, this year, we're really looking to expand and find guys that are maybe $3-4 million in revenue that don't really have their systems and processes, or they're pulling their hair out, they're a one-man show, or they have 2 or 3 reps that we can really implement into the Miller Storm family, the team, the processes, and really 3 to 4x their company and collaborate with them to eventually make a bigger exit in 3 to 5 years.
You said the word culture, and that's something that, to be honest with you, I noticed about you online, is that you guys seem to have a really strong culture.
Yes.
So what do you think it is that separates Miller Storm from all these other roofing companies?
You hear the story all the time, right? From every sales rep that's been in roofing. It's like, hey, I started with this roofing company and they gave me business cards, gave me a pitch, told me good luck, hit me up if you get a roof inspection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard it over and over again, right? But then also it's like, once these guys get developed, you always hear the story of, hey, I train this guy, he becomes $1 million or a $2 million producer, and then he ends up to go start his own roofing company, right?
Yep.
And so I always say this is culture before sales and holding a very high standard. So it's not that, especially in DFW, you cannot just be great at roofing, great at recruiting and training and retention. You also have to be teaching these guys personal development, right? We have real estate agents that come in to teach guys about how to buy a house, how to structure their taxes. We have CPAs that come in and teach them about their LLC and how to get their corporate structure set up, right? Working out, diet plans, all these things. So not only are we building, some of the best quality sales reps in the industry that I believe, right? But we're building the best people for the society, and also making sure they know what to do with the money. It's our responsibility as business owners and roofing company owners, because guys, I've seen guys make $150,000, $200,000 a year, and they don't have the money saved up for taxes, or they don't know how to use real estate to offset and use the depreciation to offset their active income and buy an asset versus a liability. These are all different things that we take and we incorporate, and we constantly are leveling up as leadership and pouring that into our team. So it's not just that they're learning about, roofing, they're learning about life and how to build a legacy and how to stick around a winning team that holds a very high standard, because there's not a lot of companies that hold that high standard. We have a line inside of Miller Storm, it's love ain't lies, right? We're very direct with our guys as to what we believe that they can do, because it comes down to their belief system. Winning is momentum. We start to get them some wins, some training, and then all of a sudden they start to believe in themselves, and after they believe that they're worth more than $100,000 a year, then you start to produce golden door winners that make $400,000 to $500,000 a year, and then all of a sudden the belief inside of the culture starts to get a whole lot greater. That's some of the differences with us, because in DFW it's a very competitive market.
Yeah.
And and you have to be different, right? It's like, there are some great trainers out there, but how are you going to be unique? What's the difference maker between you and some of the other companies that may have great training?
I love what you guys are doing, because for me, that's been one of the most rewarding parts of being in this industry.
Yes.
Is getting to bring people in and then change their life.
Yes.
And teach them things way outside of roofing.
Yes.
So I've been in this space for a long time, and I've seen seasons change and challenges change.
Yeah.
And so for you, Miller Storm, and your team right now, what are some of those challenges that you guys have been seeing?
I think the challenges really is because Texas isn't a licensing state.
Oh,
we
You mean anybody can go to Home Depot and be a roofer?
Yeah,
You go to Home Depot, you buy a ladder and you're a roofer?
Right. And that,
Welcome to Texas.
Yes, and I don't think that deductible law is enforced enough, right? And so we do lose a lot of business by being on the right side of right. We know when to walk away from deals. We're not gonna do anything illegal. We stay ethical. I mean, sometimes, of course, you get that devil and the angel on your shoulder. You're like, man, I could do this job if I were to just bend this a little bit. But, we have a very thick line of what is ethical, legal, and we never cross that line. And that just shows more about us as a company, that we do things the right way. And so that is some of the challenges when it comes to growth, because in DFW, a lot of these guys will waive deductibles and, do this crazy stuff and get these crazy private equity deals. And we're like, man, if we did all that, we could probably triple overnight.
So what are you guys doing in lieu of what other people are doing to provide that bridge for your homeowners to say, okay, we need you to pay the deductible, but here's the tools we have in our toolbox to be able to offer you guys?
A couple things is that, one, our estimating and our supplement team, we go through and make sure that everything that was damaged is accounted for and paid for by the adjuster. Now, if the homeowner decides to not do certain items, they can move that ACV money toward the deductible to alleviate some of their exposure. Okay, that's one way.
Which is legal, ethical, and
legal and
within the
ethical,
books.
correct, right? But the other way is that we partnered with 3 banks and we have up to 21 months, 0% interest financing.
Nice.
So whatever is left of their deductible or their exposure, they can do that for up to 21 months, 0%
Amazing.
interest.
I love that.
Right? Or they can also, whatever they qualify for, they can qualify for more upgrades to get even better shingles, better ridge, better whatever it is, right? Like maybe they only have 2 sides of gutters and they want a full wrap. They can add that into the financing for the 0% interest. And so my own mom won't lend me money for 0% interest,
Yeah, right?
Stuff.
Another question for you, James.
Yes.
How long have you been in the industry?
So I've been in the roofing industry since 2016.
So probably like me, you've seen seasons.
Yes.
What is the biggest change that you've noticed in the roofing space with insurance companies?
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything has kind of went different in the last year?
I hope Steve Badger ain't watching this, but listen, here's the deal, right? Hey, maybe he is, who knows? The insurance companies are now veering some of our homeowners to their preferred contractors, right?
Oh, okay.
And so like, what that does is it puts us kind of in the middle of like saying like, hey, like we're having to like kind of put that candle out, because they do that as a back door, right? Like we inspect the roof, we find the hail damage, we explain what's going on, and then, if we let the homeowner, on their own accord file the claim on their own, then they start to try to invite other contractors into the deal when we're the originators of that deal, right?
Right.
We've seen that to become more and more common. Is that these third-party companies, they come in and they say, hey, you want to be on our contractor list, and we'll give you leads, and we'll buy the material, you supply the labor, and you make 70% or whatever, right? So we've seen a lot of that in the last 12 months, where the insurance companies have tried to steer our own homeowners to using some of their own preferred contractors. And that's been, a little bit more prevalent now versus the last 9 years before that.
Yeah. Is there any more challenges that you guys have been having when it comes to approvals this year over previous years?
Our approvals have kind of been good. I mean, like, we are not gonna shoot for something that's a 50-50. We say like, you're either pregnant or you're not, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you either have the damage or you don't. Exactly, right? As I tell my guys all the time, your biggest asset in this is time. So if somebody has marginal damage, right, let's not try to take a shot and put a homeowner in a situation where they give them a partial, and you have to take them all the way to maybe an appraisal, or maybe that nothing gets paid for at all, or maybe partial parts of their roof get paid for, and now they're stuck with that on their history, and they don't have the money to pay for those repairs. So we like to make sure that we put our homeowners in the best absolute situation where they can, get their home restored back to pre-storm conditions and even better.
Valid damage. The policy should cover it.
Yep.
The adjuster comes out and says, nah.
Yeah.
You guys seen that?
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation?
Yeah, you have two options, right? You can file for re-inspect, which I actually prefer that because, you know, they're gonna take their pictures and they're gonna try to make it look like there's not damage. It's like, would you rather take a picture of you or would you rather someone else take a picture of you?
Definitely the selfie angle.
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So I get to create my own pictures, my own narrative, and my own packet that I get to send into the insurance company that looks a lot better than what they're gonna try to send in.
Yeah.
See what I mean? And then so I always will, I say like 80 to 90% of the time, I'll always win that on a re-inspection versus, and then the third piece is the ace up my sleeve, which is, a homeowner has an option to go to an appraisal. There's 3 rounds I tell homeowners, not that I'm supposed to be involved in that appraisal process, but it is in their policy. And so they have that option to go to appraisal, which is, very effective for homeowners, especially in DFW when it comes to denying re-inspects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with appraisals has always been that there's no supplementation on them. So what about for the items that you can't see to appraise?
Right. This is where you really have to get very detailed in your inspection. Okay. I teach my guys how to measure decking, measure the sheathing, measure the spacing on the rafters, lifting up the shingles, looking at the drip edge, seeing how many layers of felt are there, because before you go to appraisal, you want to make sure that you have done a very thorough inspection and that your estimate is a little bit higher than usual, right? To just account for what will happen in appraisal.
So I've been working with attorneys a lot more this year than in previous years, just because I feel like, man, if we get a denial, for me, I'm kind of done with that 3-month window of like re-inspection, appraisal, but like it all takes time. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, if I'm gonna send in an estimate, I'm just gonna send it in with a demand letter, and we're just gonna, because at PA, it's like, if the insurance company stops talking to them, what else are they gonna do?
Right.
Versus the next step with an attorney is a lawsuit for bad faith.
Yep.
So if we know we have damage and we know we have the policy to cover it, then let's go.
Yeah. So how can they find you, Kimba, on Instagram, and what's the new podcast?
So it's going to be the Kimba Co Podcast. And really our goal is to be driving positive narrative back to the industry, to give real contractors, real people doing real things, a voice in the industry like you. So thank you so much, Jay, for allowing me to interview you today.
1000%.
We are excited about this new narrative, pushing out to the industry, value-based, impact-based, and really talking about business. Claims, customers, insurance, roofing, culture. So thank you so much for allowing us to pick your brain, because what you guys have going on is absolutely amazing. Real quick, how many $1 million producers did you just tell me you had?
So we had 11 this year.
11 million.
2 golden doors, and then we had $9 million producers.
Incredible, man.